All right, let's get this party started. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris, and this is my channel. We love comics, and I'm about to do a tag video that I have never seen before, and I do not believe has ever been done. And what I want people to do, and even if you're not tagged, if you want to do the video, you are more than welcome to. And what I encourage is, anybody that does make a video, if you want to post the link to your video on this video itself in the comments section, I will approve all of the subscribers or anybody who wants to do this type of video. So I'm going to tag 3 people. And again, if you're not tagged and you want to be one of the people that does this video, if you think this is a cool idea, please participate, and then you tag 3 other people. So if you know of any of the 3 that I am about to tag, leave a message on their most current video and let them know they've been tagged in this, because I don't know if they still watch my videos or not, and that's okay. To each their own. So I'm going to put it in the live chat as well. Mighty Comics and Collectibles, Who Dat Comics, and Alex the Comic Hoarder. All 3 of you have been tagged for this video. And what it is I want you to show a comic in every single graded version that you have. So in other words, a 0.5 and as high, show the next a 1.0 and so on and so on. Show how many books you have in different grades, and try and make sure, if you can, that each book is different. So I thought this was a cool idea to do as a tag video. Like I said, if you want to participate in it, you can. So I'm going to show you all the different comics I have in different grades, and it shows that I, as I always say, low grade is better than no grade, and I also have some higher grade books as well. So again, if you know Mighty Comics and Collectibles, Who Dat Comics, or Alex the Comic Hoarder, leave a message in their most recent video. Let them know about this video and that they've been tagged. And if you want to be participating in this, if you have a YouTube channel, or you want to start one and have this as your first video, once you complete your video, post the link in the comments section of this video, and hopefully it'll help you get a couple of extra views. So with that being said, all right, let's put on the video camera. All right. So I'm going to mention the significance and, of course, what I paid for a book if I have it listed on there. First one we're starting with is just a page. So that's the lowest grade you can get. But this, I actually normally wouldn't buy something like this. But as of now, I do not have the money to be able to buy this book even in a 0.5. So this is a CGC page of Detective Comics number 27, which, of course, first appearance of Batman. It does not have Batman on either page, because the whole entire book of Detective Comics 27 was not dedicated to Batman. It was a short story. But I paid $390 for this book, well, for this page. And I also have Captain America #1 from the Golden Age. So I just thought that was cool. So we're starting with the PG. Is it PG-13? Who knows? All right. So, next up, we go to a 0.5, which shows that I don't mind having lower grades, because, say it with me, low grade is better than no grade. This particular book, always wanted this book, Tales to Astonish number 27. That is the first appearance of Ant-Man. Not in costume, but it's the first appearance of Ant-Man, and last 10-cent issue. 0.5, paid $620 for this book. There is going to be another Ant-Man movie coming out. Off-white to white pages. I wonder if they do that with the page, if they say what page quality. They say cream to off-white, so they do. Alright, so that's the 0.5. Yeah, Dean, there are actually pages of books that sell for a lot of money. So I got into it. I got I think either 2 or 3 of the Detective Comics 27 and 2 of the Captain America #1s. So pages do sell for a lot, especially for books that, a 0.5 of Detective Comics 27 is probably $500,000, somewhere around there, maybe a little less. but the average person just doesn't happen to have that kind of funds handy. And if you do, you know, God bless you, Allah bless you, whoever you worship bless you. But sometimes a page, at least you have a part of it. So, I mean, it's not going to be for everybody. It's not a claim sale. This is actually a tag video where I came up with an idea of showing at least one comic in every grade, and I tagged 3 people, and I'll show it once again. It's Mighty Comics and Collectibles, Hudak Comics, and Alex the Comic Hoarder. But like I said, if anybody wants to participate in this, they can. Alright, I do not have a 1.0. I'm actually surprised about that. So, I don't have a book in 1.0 grade to show anybody. So, we'll go to the next one, which is 1.5. And that is my Amazing Spider-Man number 2. I actually had another one, a 1.8. But I sold that to be able to move here to Florida. But I got such a great deal on both of these, I couldn't complain. Now, of course, Amazing Spider-Man number 2 is the the first appearance of the Vulture. I believe third appearance of Spider-Man. I'm not sure if he was anywhere in any other comic before this one came out. But still, early Spider-Man appearance. Low grade, off-white to white pages. But I only paid $335 for this book. So for me, even in low grade, to get Amazing Spider-Man number 2 complete, works for me. So I'm very happy owning this book. Like I said, at one point I did own 2 copies, and I think I paid even less for the other one. But, you know, if you want to buy something, sometimes you got to sell something. Alright, next up, we're going to the grade of 1.8. And if you like this idea, hit the like button. And again, if you want to be a part of it, please let me know about this. So I'm showing every graded comic that I have, and I hope others will participate in this. I think it's at least an original idea. Alright, so we're going to the next grade of 1.8, and that is Fantastic Four issue number 3. Definitely a book to pick up if you can, because, you know, we're going to be having the Fantastic Four coming to the MCU fairly quickly, and this, of course, is the first appearance of their costumes. So that is a significant book. Only paid $179 for this book. So again, lower grade, but for the price I paid for it, definitely can't complain. And books like this, I mean, the first 10 issues of Fantastic Four, you really can't go wrong, depending on the price that you paid. Off-white to white pages. First appearance of the Miracle Man and the Fantastic Car. And the Fantastic Four dons their costumes and establish their headquarters. So there is a lot of significance in this book. Again, for the price I paid for it, you know, it is what it is. Alright, so we go to the next one, a 2.0. This is actually a trimmed comic. Little bit interesting scenario on this, but I'm not going to complain about this. So, next book is a 2.0, and that is Batman issue number 9. This is the first Christmas comic, and the first time they had the spotlight cover, which has been definitely done over and over again. This book was originally, somebody placed it, the staples were removed, 2 pieces of tape along the cover. It has been trimmed. This was actually in one of those where somebody took a bound volume and took all the comics from certain comics, and they made a bound volume of it. So they took it out of that, so it was trimmed to fit in the book, and the staples were removed. But I paid $564.91 for this book. Love early Golden Age Batman, so for me, definitely very happy to own that. My oldest Batman used to be Batman number 5, but I did sell that about a year or 2 ago. Kind of helped to pay some bills. So Batman number 9 as of now is my oldest Batman book, but considering how many issues Batman has, you know, Batman number 9 definitely, you know, I'll be happy with that. Alright, so we go to the next one of 2.5. So this is a CG book, 2.5. This is Action Comics number 242, which is the first appearance of Bizarro. Absolutely. I'm sorry, not Bizarro. Brainiac. Wrong B. I apologize. I actually have 3 copies of this book. The funny thing is, I wanted this book for a long time, and especially after seeing that Justice League video game. I mean, that was the best portrayal of this character I've ever seen, and I hope if they ever make a movie with him in it, they do it like that, because they made him a very imposing character. And ever since then, I loved him, and I couldn't find this book. Then all of a sudden, I found one, and I believe the next day I got another one. And I think later on that week, I got a third. So I went from spending about a year trying to find it, to finding at least 2, if not all 3 that I had within a week's period. So this is, I paid $841.53 for this book. Definitely an expensive book, but well worth it. I'm surprised they haven't used this villain in a DC movie, but DC hasn't made that many movies lately. And if they make it, I want them to make it right. I don't want them to just make it. But this has creamed off-white pages. A book that definitely has room to grow, especially if they end up ever using him in a movie. And again, if they make it anywhere close to that video game, and I don't remember the name of the game, but if they make it anything close to that, I mean, that would be a success. All right, so let's get to the next grade of a 3.0. This has off-white pages. I have 2 copies of this book. This is Justice League #1. This is not the first appearance of the Justice League of America, but it is their first comic issue. I paid $276.25. It is the origin and first appearance of Despero. I'm not sure who that is. I'm not a huge DC fan as far as when it comes to knowledge of all the characters. But this came out in 1960. I think I have either another one that's a 1.8 or a 1.5. But for $276, definitely the right price for a 3.0. All right, next up, 3.5. And again, if anybody wants to participate in this, I did tag 3 people. I tagged Who Dat Comics, Mighty Comics and Collectibles, and Alex the Comic Hoarder. But if anybody wants to do this video, if they think it's a cool idea, please participate, and you can post the link to your completed video in the comment section of this video, and I'll be more than happy to help you get some views from it. All right, next up, we got our 3.5 off-white to white pages. This is Tales to Astonish number 13, first appearance of Groot. Absolutely love this cover. Paid $1,000 for this book at the time. Actually, no, $900, because I remember I had a, my wife gave me a $100 eBay card as a part of a Christmas present, so I paid $900 for this book. So definitely, first appearance of Groot. Very hard book to get. Who knew that a talking tree one day would become so popular? And the funny part is, I read this before I graded it. Groot is nothing like he is in the Guardians of the Galaxy. He was a bad guy here, and he had complete speech. He didn't just say, "I am Groot," because that would have been probably a very boring comic if that's all he said. So he was basically just one of those generic, like, 50s and 60s monsters who was a villain. How they ended up turning him into, having the idea of turning this particular villain into someone that's incredibly well known these days because of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Whoever did it's a genius. But definitely, again, hard book to get. I paid about what it's... I think it's worth more than what I paid for it at this point. I bought it a couple of years ago. Looking forward to seeing Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I think they said it comes out next year. Alright, we're up to 4.0. I got another Golden Age book. I'm actually surprised. Well, I'm actually not surprised because the cover is detached. But this is the highest grade you can get for a Golden Age comic. Now, when it comes to covers detached, Silver Age, the best you can get is a 3.0. But you can get a 4.0 with Golden Age. So I've actually shown that when I did this. CGC actually, I don't know if you could still find one now, but the video I made when I showed this book, I actually showed on the video a CGC 4.0 with the cover detached. So you can get it. I mean, this other than the attached book, this book is beautiful. If the cover was attached, this would probably be a 6.0 or higher. But it's got off-white to white pages. I showed an earlier comic of this character in the other day's video. Hopefully you'll check that out. Not many people have. But 4.0, this is Submariner issue number 6. Alex Schomburg cover. It's got the World War II advertisement on the back. Cover is detached, off-white to white pages. Nothing of anything particularly special in this, but it does have the Alex Schomburg cover. Paid $499.95 for this book. I think especially when Submariner comes out into the MCU, this book is going to sell for a ton higher than that book. I think, in my personal opinion, I got a steal for this one. And like I said, as you could see, this book is beautiful. Considering this book came out in 1942, and I'll show you the back, if it wasn't for the fact that the cover is detached, this book would, like I said, easily would have gotten a 6.0 or higher. But I'm not going to complain with a 4.0, because this book is beautiful. So if you can get yourself some Golden Age books, try and get them, because, I mean, there's just something about them. I mean, obviously, it's not for everybody, and that's okay. All right, next up, we got grade of 4.5. I have a couple of different copies of this book, and that is Avengers number 4, which is the first Silver Age appearance of Captain America, because they ended because of World War II ending and everything, after a while people got tired of superhero comics and they started doing more romance and stuff like that. So most of these characters just basically disappeared for a while. Then they did a test run with a comic right before this, but it ends up it wasn't the original Captain America, it was somebody disguised as him. But this is his true first Silver Age reappearance. Definitely a great book to have. I do not have the price on this one, unfortunately, but I know I only paid around $200 or less for this, because I got some deals on these, because I bought them a couple years ago. This was one of the books I had as a kid, but got stolen. The one I had would have easily been a 9.0. So whoever stole my books back then, you know, probably lived somewhere in Malibu. So good for them. But, yeah, because a lot of my rarer books were incredibly high grade. I mean, I even had a Conan number 1 that would be easily a 9.8, no-brainer. And they stole that as well. So, you know, to each their own. But this has off-white to white pages. First a Silver Age appearance of Captain America. Captain America joins the Avengers. And, of course, they consider this a classic cover. This has been redone on many occasions. All right, and thank you so far to the 7 people that have hit the like button. I really appreciate that. For those of you just turning in, this is a tag video where I want people to show one comic in as many different grades as they can. See how many different grades you have. So far, the only one that I have not been able to show because I don't have is a 1.0. But we're up to a 5.0. This has white pages, which I love for a book from 1963. Amazing Spider-Man number 5. I got this one right before all the hype was going on. And again, I always tell people, deals are out there. This is the first time Dr. Doom appears in another comic. So first Dr. Doom crossover. Now obviously, if you cannot afford Dr. Doom's first appearance in Fantastic Four number 5, another cool book right here to get. So this came back a 5.0. I only paid $179.55, and that's including the price to get this graded and all the insurance and shipping costs and everything. So $179.55, 5.0 white pages. Beautiful book. Definitely one I would highly recommend to get if you have the opportunity. You probably won't get it for $179, but hey, you never know. Deals are always out there. Never give up. All right, next up, we're up to 5.5. This book is off-white to white pages. I have several copies of this book. Again, this is another book I had stolen from me as a kid, but I have them now. And that is, of course, X-Men number 94, which is not the first appearance of the new X-Men, but it's the first time they are in the X-Men series, because before that it's in Giant Size X-Men number 1. Again, I bought these right before they really started to explode, and again, even though these are expensive, they're going to continue to go up because you haven't even seen any trailers or anything, or even any hints as which actors are going to be playing which characters So these books still have plenty of room to grow. I only paid $139.50. And again, that includes all of the grading fees and everything, because I was telling people for years, buy these books early. And when the X-Men were not doing good with their last movie or two before they got bought by Disney, that's when I was buying these. When most people were selling, I was buying. Unfortunately, most people invest with their emotions instead of their logic. When something's going down, that's a buying opportunity. Now, that's why I kind of stay away from stocks, because stocks can go to zero. A book like this is never going to reach zero. It will reach peaks and valleys. The idea is you buy it on the valley and you sell it at the peak. So for $139.50, this could have came back a 0.5 now and I would still be ahead. I'm very happy with a 5.5 off-white pages. And it does say, second appearance of the new X-Men, Storm, Nightcrawler, Colossus, Thunderbird, Angel, Iceman, and Marvel Girl resign. Definitely another classic cover. I'm surprised they don't actually mention that, but that's okay. Alright, so we're up to 6.0. And this, of course, speaking, goes hand in hand with the one I just mentioned. So this has off-white to white pages. I showed one of these the other day in one of my, in the other video I did with my top 25 comics. I have several copies of this. Again, I bought these a couple years ago. Only paid $286 for this book. Obviously, a very key book to get, because we may not even have X-Men today if it wasn't for these characters that came into light, because the X-Men was doing so badly that they were doing reprints. So it was just a matter of time before they were about to get canceled. So this might have been a last desperate attempt, but it saved the X-Men franchise and turned it into one of the most beloved franchises. You know, you think the Fantastic Four are going to do well in the MCU? Wait until the X-Men come. So this, of course, is the first appearance of the new X-Men. Storm, Nightcrawler, Colossus, Thunderbird. Second full appearance of Wolverine. Love the fact that it has off-white to white pages. Book from 1975, where I was 4 years old. Get that book if you can, because again, it's expensive, but it hasn't reached its peak yet. And there are always deals out there, so never assume that something's out of your reach, because, you know, you could go to a yard sale and somebody's selling a bunch of comics, they had no idea what they are, and you pick one up for $1. You know, stranger things have happened, so never give up. Alright, next up, we're up to the 6.5 grade. This is off-white to white pages. This is a book that recently I sent to PGX. A book that I would highly recommend getting. These, I have like 3 or 4 of this book. I bought them again probably 2017, 2018. And this book is going to continue to rise. I mean, this could have been a 0.5 I'd make out for it. But this is Marvel Spotlight number 28 with the Moon Knight TV show just around the corner. A lot of people have, based on the trailer, a lot of high hopes for the show. Now, I hope the best parts aren't in the trailer, like the first Suicide Squad movie. Because I remember the Suicide Squad movie trailer, the first one. I mean, the trailer was amazing. It made even my wife want to see it. Then we saw it, and we both looked at each other like, what the heck was that? So I'm hoping that's not the case with Moon Knight, and I don't think it is. I just really think it's going to do well. And if it does, books like this are going to be even more and more valuable. Now, obviously, this isn't his first appearance, because that's Werewolf by Night 32. But this is the first time he is in a solo story. So definitely, if you cannot pick that up, the first appearance, or the second appearance, this is definitely the book to get. Now, with grading costs and fees and all that other stuff, I only paid $31.50 for this book in total, off-white to white pages. So Moon Knight definitely has room to grow. If that TV show does really well, I would say probably take another 3 to 5 years, but he'll be in a movie. I no doubt in my mind. All right, next up, we got grade of 7.0. This is my highest graded Golden Age book. This is Superman This is issue number 25. It has light tan to off-white pages where Clark Kent joins the army. And the back, I always loved the advertisements in the Golden Age. Back then, you could buy weapons. You could buy, like, radioactive chemicals for a chemistry set. I mean, they gave 2 Fs when it came to child safety back then. But this, to me, I used my eBay bucks for this purchase. 7.0 for a book that came out in 1943. Amazing to me. Again, it just says Clark Kent joins the army, so other than that, not any major significance. But it came out November, December of 1943. After my eBay bucks, I only paid $388 for this book. So under $400 for a 7.0 Superman 25. I'll take that all day and every day. Next up, we have a 7.5. Now, if you watched my top 25 video the other day, and I hope you will if you haven't, I showed another copy of this book. So this is my second copy of this book, and I'm really looking forward to the day they do the TV show. Now, they've been talking about that for years. Hasn't happened yet, so you never know. Until something happens, nothing's guaranteed, and speculation means nothing if it never comes to fruition. But my 7.5 with white pages is Bone number 1, first print. First appearance of the Bone characters. I paid $1,490 for this book. About the going rate as of now, probably a little bit under. But if the TV show ever happens, this book will continue to skyrocket. These are rare, especially in first prints. Because I think there's like, God, at least between 7 and 9 prints of this book. And most of the covers look identical to the cover, except the color of the word bone is different. So that's definitely one you want to make sure. I think it's at least the first 10 to 13 issues have multiple prints. And the only difference is the color of the word. So make sure you know what you're buying so you don't end up buying the wrong print. Because I actually had somebody, I don't think they were doing it on purpose, but I was looking for Bone number 3, first print, and a person said they had it, and then I looked at it and made sure I double-checked. It ended up being a third print. They said they didn't know it. Who knows? But that's why I always tell people, do your own research. Make sure you know what you're doing so you don't get burned, even if it's by accident. All right, next up, we're up to the 8.0 grade. This book I actually talked about as a second book to one of the books I showed in the top 25. You won't know what I'm talking about if you didn't watch the video. But our 8.0 is actually white pages. This came out in 1974. This is not even my highest grade. I probably have at least 10 copies of this book. I've been telling people for years, and I still recommend people getting this book. This, of course, is Hulk 180, which is the first appearance of Wolverine. Of course, it is in a cameo. Marvel stamp is included. Wendigo appearance. And Wolverine also referred to as Weapon X. I actually didn't know that. So yeah, that's the first time he was ever called Weapon X. But 8.0 CBCS grade with white pages. Paid a grand total of $400 with this book. Because I bought this, it was combined with a Hulk 181 that I have as an 8.5. So I got these just before the price jumps really started getting up there. And again, still has plenty of room to grow. When Wolverine finally gets in the MCU, these books are going to be unobtainium. Alright, next up, I'm going to take this one out of the bag because this bag is kind of foggy. Do not have the price on this, but this is, now we're up to 8.5. And this is Avengers Annual 10, which, of course, is the first appearance of Rogue. Again, I don't have the price on it, but I can pretty much guarantee I paid less than $125 for this, because I bought this at least 4 years ago, if not longer. 4 or 5 years ago. So, another book worth getting, because the X-Men are going to be coming. I hope if they do Rogue, they do the 90s version of Rogue, and I'm sure many people would probably agree with that statement. This has white pages as well. I have several ungraded copies, so I don't know if I have any higher than an 8.5. But as far as grading for this book, that's the highest grade I have. I might have to get others submitted into grading. All right, next up, we're up to a 9.0. This is a book I sent in probably about 4 or 5 months ago to get graded. I have several copies of this. I have my 2 original that I bought the day they came out. One of them I got signed by Todd McFarlane. But since we're at a 9.0, we got Amazing Spider-Man number 300. This is the newsstand edition. If you can get a newsstand edition, and especially these modern comics, Copper Age to modern comics, get them. I got this right before the price spikes, because I only paid $160, which would be worth it even if it was the regular edition and not the newsstand. So $160 for this book, and what always gets this book as a lower grade is the fact that the back is almost completely black, and that's going to show every nook and cranny along the spine, unless somebody hasn't read it. But this has white pages, 9.0 for $160 for a newsstand variant. If I saw one today, I'd be buying it, and I know you would too. All right, let's get to the 9.2. Another book I have several of. Price I paid for it. Wouldn't even matter what the grade was, but this again has white pages, which is pretty standard for modern books. But this came out in 1993. And this is Batman Adventures 12. First comic book appearance of Harley Quinn. First ever appearance, actually. But I only paid a total, with grading, $255. And, just wanted to make sure there isn't. First Batgirl in title, first appearance of Harley Quinn. Yeah, so definitely it's for the Harley Quinn. She is definitely a character that's here to stay. And definitely a comic to get if you can get it. Yes, there's a lot of multiple copies out there, but it doesn't matter to me. It's always the supply and demand. It doesn't matter if there's 10 million of that book. If 11 million people want it, that means there is a deficit in the quantity, which means 1 million people would be trying to fight for a book that's for sale because they want it. That's going to drive the price up. So don't base it. I see so many different comic channels talk about, well, this book shouldn't be valued that high because it has so many print run. Well, that doesn't matter if more people want it than the actual print run. Because remember, they don't make those anymore. So as the years go by, some get damaged, some get lost, some get destroyed, and if anything, some just have grades get lower and lower. So you never know what's going to happen in the long run, but never base it on, yes, does print run have a factor in price? Of course, because if there was only one book of that left, sky's the limit on the price. But again, if there are more people that want a book than there are supply, that's going to drive the price up. So I want people to comment in the comment section in the live chat. I haven't seen anybody comment in a little while. And again, this is a tag video. If you want to participate in this and you weren't tagged, because the 3 I tagged was Alex the Comic Quarter, Hudak Comics, and Mighty Comics and Collectibles. If you want to be a part of this and you do make a video, you can post the link in the this video so other people can click on it. Now keep in mind, if you post the link, I do have to approve it first, and I will watch everybody's videos that makes them. So if you do post a link, I will watch it. I'll even subscribe to your channel if I'm not subscribed. So make sure you tag 3 people if you do participate. All right, next up is a 9.4. This book has been going down a little bit, but that's okay. I still love this book, still love the series. I bought this one a couple years ago. I bought the entire set, so I have the complete set of this, all in first print. So the 9.4 is Walking Dead issue number 1. Got this graded a couple years ago. This is before I worked with PGX, even though technically I don't work for them. I'm not employed or anything like that, but you know what I mean. Hard to say what the price is because I paid $3,000 for the complete set. Now, it wasn't all the way until the final issue at that point, but it was pretty much probably about a year, up to a year before the ending, when they stopped, they made the final issue. But this is signed by Tony Moore, and has white pages, which again for a new book is to be expected. First appearance of Rick Grimes, Shane Walsh Morgan, and Dwayne Jones. Robert Kirkman story, Tony Moore cover and art. Oh, cover art. So 9.4 for that one. So just a few more to go. So hopefully, people, if you like this idea, let me know. And let me know also, because like I said, I don't think anyone's ever come up with this tag before, or even done a video like this before. If you've seen it, let me know. Or if you don't think anybody else has, leave it in the comment section. I want people to participate. All right, next up is a 9.6. This book was in my original collection that I bought as a kid. I never changed my bag and boards ever. Now, of course, if a bag and board was damaged or dirty or something, that's a different story. But these were in my original bag and boards since I was a kid, teenager and early 20s, between the 80s and 90s. So this came back a 9.6, was not pressed, because when I got this graded, I never even knew pressings existed. So who knows if a pressing would give this a 9.8. But this was in my original collection, so I paid $1.25 for it, plus probably at the time $25 for the shipping cost. So let's just say an even $30 on this book. 9.6 with white pages. Amazing Spider-Man, number 361. First appearance of Carnage. I remember because Venom was really hot at that point, so when I saw this cover, I bought several copies. But like I said, I never changed the bag and board. So I had this since the day it came out in 1992 in its original bag and board, until I got this graded. I think I believe in 2016 I got this graded. Let me see if it says when it's graded. No. So it shows that the bag and board you put the comic in are not the major factor. It's how you store them and where you store them. So I've made videos on that, and that's why back in the days my channel got so controversial, because I was talking about how Mylars are not as great as people lead you to believe they are. They make the book look fancier, and yes, they are better than the standard bag and board. But if you put it in a Mylar, if there's water, it's going to damage it. If you're in an area where there's extreme hot and cold, it's going to damage it. They're not vacuum sealed, so bacteria and things can still get in. So, to each their own, buy what you love. I like to be straightforward and honest, and a lot of people just didn't like that for some reason. I never understood the hate I got because of it. But this is one of the proofs. Again, I bought a regular bag and board back in 1992, where I put this comic in, and there it sat until about 2016 in that original bag and board, and without a pressing, it's a 9.6 with white pages. And I have many copies like that. So, I mean, you can always believe what you want. I show my side. I tell my story. Whether you believe it or not, or whether you agree with it or not, that is up to you. Trilogy, Face to Backstacking. Yes, that's one way you can do it. I kept them all the regular way back then. All right, we're up to 9.8. Absolutely love this book. In my opinion, I got a steal on this. Even if this did not have what I'm about to show, and it was just the regular cover, I would have totally underpaid, because for a while, this book got very expensive when it first came out. And then it just dropped off the face of the earth for a while. So I bought like 3 or 4 copies. When I saw this one, I bought raw on eBay. I bought it up. Got it graded. And all of the signatures and sketches are verified. So this is a 9.8, white pages. This is Spider-Gwen #1. This is, I believe it's the 1 in 100 Adam Hughes variant. And you could see it has sketches and several signatures, which I'll go over. It's signed by Stan Lee, Dan Slott, Robbie Rodriguez, Jason Latour, and signed and remarked by Adam Hughes and Rico Renzi. So this is the first Spider-Gwen in her own title. So it's not her first appearance. But I only paid $363.50 for this book. So if this would have been just the regular 1 in 100 variant, Adam Hughes variant, without the signatures, that would have been a good deal. And people thought I was crazy to buy these a couple years ago because they said, oh, this book is worth nothing. I don't base things on what they currently are or what they were. I base them where I believe they're going. And I knew Spider-Gwen one day was going to become very popular. Same thing with Miles Morales. And as you could see, the popularity rose once she was in that Sonyverse movie. Now, that was a cartoon. Eventually, they're going to bring her into a live-action movie. What do you think that's going to do to books like this? It's only going to increase them. So, definitely Spider-Gwen books are hot and definitely worth getting. But with that amount of signatures and 2 sketches on it, at a 9.8 with white pages, I'm going to clean up on books like that. So, I'm actually happy that many people were selling and afraid to buy those books because it left me the opportunity to scoop them all up. And I've shown over the years, you can see all my videos, I show example after example after example of there are always deals out there. Sometimes you just have to be patient. When it comes to investing, most investments are not you buy it that day and the next day you're a millionaire. Sometimes you have to wait a decade. Sometimes you have to see a peak, miss out on it, it drops out of the face of the earth, and then you still hold on to it, and then eventually it goes back up and goes even higher than when you thought it was at its peak. If you cannot endure the emotional roller coaster it takes in any investment, you should not be investing. Because it can take decades. It's a little bit harder for me now because, you know, I'm 51 and I'm not getting any younger. And I always said, since I started collecting again, that once I reached about 55, I want to sell my collection so somebody else can enjoy it, and I can actually use that money to buy our forever home or just, you know, retire and be happy. Much as I love these comics, you know, when I die, I have no one to leave them to because my wife doesn't care about them, and I don't have any children, so I might as well sell them at one point, make people happy that now own part of my collection or just a part of these comics. I'm sure some people don't even care they're part of my collection, but so it'll pass on to somebody else that's happy for them. I'll be happy because I'll have the money to do things that I would not have been able to do. But to each their own. Believe it or not, we're not done yet. So if you want to do this tag video, you show from the lowest grade you have to the highest grade you have. One comic, try and keep them all different comics. But it's all the different levels of grades that you have slabbed. I tagged Mighty Comics and Collectibles, Hudak Comics, and Alex the Comics Hoarder. So if you know any of those 3, leave them a message in the comments section. And if you do a video, you could post the link into the comment section of this video. I will watch it. I will subscribe to your channel if I'm not already subscribed. But you do have to tag 3 people as well. Let's keep this going. All right, next up. This book has definitely gone down, but I'm still happy with this. We are at 9.9 with white pages. So this is a mint book. This is Civil War #1. This is the Michael Turner variant. White pages, signed by Steve McNiven and the late, great Michael Turner. So it's dual signed. Michael Turner, who's right there. It's hard to see because it's in silver. And Steve McNiven, graded at a 9.9. So yes, the movie's over, but this is still an iconic series. Very happy with this. Cannot complain for a 9.9. I think I paid about either $1,000 or $1,500, which at the time I bought this back in 2016 was the most expensive book I ever purchased. Now I have 2 books that I spent $5,000 on, but luckily they're worth, at least one of them is worth more than double. All right, believe it or not, hey, Mighty Comics and Collectibles is here. Good that you're seeing this because you have been tagged in this video, and I hope you will participate. It's showing every graded comic you have from the lowest to the highest, and hopefully you'll tag 3 people. And if you do the video, post a link to the video in the comment section of this video because I want other people to be able to see it that may not be subscribed to you, and hopefully it'll get you a couple of views. So believe it or not, I do have a graded 10 comic. I sold one of them, but I still have one left. And that is Batman Damned, issue number 1, the Batwang issue. This is the, this is number 2. My apologies. So Batman number 2 in a perfect 10 CGC. Of course, white pages. This is the Jim Lee variant. Anybody interested in this one, let me know, because like I said, I sold the other one. I don't remember what I paid for it, because it's not even in a bag. It doesn't have one of the holders on it. But perfect 10 for this book. Very happy with that. So hopefully this is an original idea. I don't believe anyone's ever done this before. Mighty Comics and Collectibles says he definitely will do it and tag 3 people. That's awesome. So please go and click on his username and go check him out. I'm subscribed to him as well. He does some great content, and he will participate, so that's great to hear. So anybody that wants to participate in this, you go with your lowest grade all the way up to your highest. So I don't have a no grade one, but I did show a one that was just a page. So I had 0.5 all the way up to a 10. The only one missing was a 1.0. I did not have any graded comics, and I searched every one that I have. I do not have one in a 1.0. I did have one at one point, but I sold it. And that was a couple years ago when I moved here to Florida. That was one of the books in my mystery boxes. And if you're interested in one of my mystery boxes, just check the link of this description. I give away some good comics in those mystery boxes. There are a couple of people that have even had videos of them. I remember one for, I think it was a silver package, which was, I don't remember the price, but one of the books was a Darth Vader number 3. Now, back then, everybody's like, oh, well, you know, that's okay. It's not that great. But that book now is definitely amazing. So a lot of the books I was giving, I gave away several Ultimate Fallout 4s. Because I knew where they were going. Now, like, for example, with Ultimate Fallout 4, I didn't know how they would go this high. But I definitely knew they would go up. So check out and purchase one of my mystery boxes. It helps me. It'll help you. And depending, it's anywhere from a $99 one, which is kind of generic comics, to up to a $5,000 mystery box where there is not one generic comic in there. They will all be key issues. So go check it out. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. 25 people watched. 19 of those people hit the like button, so thank you so much for that. I'm glad to see Mighty Comics and Collectibles was here at the end to see this. He is going to participate, so go check him out. Trilogy says, how are you enjoying Florida so far? Absolutely loving it. It is going to be hitting 80 degrees today, which for February, I'll take. Definitely never got anything even remotely close to that when I lived in New York. Probably the average temperature in February was probably 40, so about half of what we're experiencing now. So I love the freedoms we have here. Florida is one of the freest places, not only in the country, but in the world these days. Things are pretty much as normal can be. I don't see anything that the news tries to portray about Floridians and the way they try and demonize everybody that lives here. I love it here. I thought I would spend my entire life in New York. Now, I could never see myself ever leaving Florida and ever going back to New York. So, you know, the weather's amazing. There's no state tax. Like I said, you're free to do whatever you want. Palm trees everywhere, beautiful beaches. You can go in October to the beach and go swimming, and the water is bath water warm at the beach. My wife and I were amazed at that when we did that in October. It was either September or October, but either one, it was like literally bath water. And that's the ocean. So we live on the West Coast, so we're on the side with the Gulf of Mexico. So we don't really have to worry about the hurricanes in the area that we're in. You know, knock on wood. And it's just beautiful. So Emery's Wilt says he missed it. Hopefully you'll catch it on the return. Emery's, we're going to do you as the surprise subscriber shout out, and we're going to pick a second one. Let's scroll back a little while, see if somebody is still here. Punisher XS you are both going to be the surprise subscriber shout-outs. So if you want to be a surprise subscriber shout-out, you don't even have to be a subscriber, but hopefully you'll hit subscribe if you haven't. You just got to participate in the live chat as it's going live. So if you are picked, you can post the link to either a video or your channel if you have YouTube videos that you make. If you don't, you'd rather post the link to your social networks, you can do that instead. And if you don't have that or don't want to do that, and you'd rather post the link to something you sell on eBay, Etsy, Amazon, any of those different places, as long as it's something that is appropriate for all viewing audiences, I will allow it. So with that in mind, make sure that you understand that if you post the link, it will not show up right away. I do have to approve it. So if you see a link, it means it has been approved. And the other day, somebody posted a link that was a surprise subscriber shout out. I hit approve, and for some reason, it never showed up on the comment section. So if that was you, let me know in the comment section, and I'll remember who it is once I see it. So, you know, don't have 50 people say, oh, it was me. I'll know who it is when I see it. But I'll approve it again, and hopefully YouTube won't be, you know, silly little people that they are and not allow it to be. So that's it. That is my tag video. Let me know. Take the time in the comment section and let me know what you thought of this video. Let me know if you've ever seen this before, if you thought it was a good idea. If you did, hit the thumbs up button, hit subscribe. Like I also said, check the description of this and any video because I have a lot of discount codes that I offer and other things like that that I don't even mention. And check out our surprise subscriber shoutouts. And I look forward to seeing Mighty Comic and Collectibles tag video. And hopefully this will be something that grows. So thanks for watching, everybody. Thank you to the people that hit the thumbs up button. Thank you to those who participated in the chat. And those who will watch in the future, you are just as much appreciated. So I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. Participate in this tag video, even if you weren't tagged. Leave a link to the video once completed in the comment section so other people may click on it and subscribe to your channel. And don't forget, it's not you, it is not I, it is We Love Comics. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day, everybody. I'll see you next week.